coming up in just a bit. You know, we're going from bugs to losing weight. It's everything you want right here on the 10 Show. Why would you go anywhere else? Today we're talking about dieting, but kind of a different way of dieting. It's actually changing your thinking. And that's thanks to the author of a brand new book called Skinny Thinking. And Laura Katleman-Prue has written this book. She's here to explain step by step how you can actually heal your relationship with food. And I love the cover. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Lori, for having me.
I love the cover because the example is, I guess the idea is it's all in your head. It's the way you think about food.
Exactly. How you habitually think about food keeps you yo-yoing. It's the root of the problem.
Because most of us think of food as we eat our way through our emotions. It's a comfort. It's something that we do to reward ourselves. It's something we do when we're sad.
Exactly, and if you see it that way, you'll always struggle with your weight. And what we have here are some pleasure foods.
Yes.
And they illustrate the whole picture of food.
I had some of those last night.
Did you?
I'm just going to admit that. Yes, I did. And what you're saying is you can have some of these foods.
Exactly.
It's all in how you think of them.
Well, you want to see the whole picture of what you're doing. And the whole picture is that it's a nice taste in your mouth, but that nice taste is fleeting. The rest of the truth is not so nice. The longer term consequences, if you eat too much of it or you eat it when you're not hungry, is bloating, weight gain, lethargy, blame, self-castigation. That's the whole picture. And so that's one of the 20 kung fu that we have in the book. To get all 20 and to join our 91-day free challenge, go to www.skinnythinking.com.
Okay, let's tell people first what they're going for.
Oh, yes.
So we're talking about skinny thinking. You're talking about changing the way you think about food. First of all, you know, I think we've all been taught to think of food as something that is pleasurable, it's something that we love, but at the same time we all want to be thin. Those two things can't exist in the same space. How do we change the thinking? What's the first step?
It's mutually exclusive. So what you want to do is see the whole truth at once, because what we're used to doing is seeing the thin sliver of truth, which is that pleasure food tastes nice.
So you're talking about being conscious before we put something.
Exactly, seeing the whole truth all at once. So when you're reaching for that pleasure food, and if you can see the whole truth, then maybe you'll start to think, fleeting nice taste, the not so nice longer term consequences, and maybe those few seconds that pleasure food spends in my mouth, maybe it's not worth it.
So you have to train yourself then.
It's a habit.
I mean, do you sit there, do you have to retrain your entire thought process, or is it one meal at a time? Is it one cupcake at a time? How do you change your thinking?
Well, what you do, there are 20 kung fu, and you pick one.
Kung fu as in?
Exactly.
Okay.
To knock out your emotional eating crazies. You pick one that resonates for you, that you can think of very quickly. And because emotional eating is a habit and you created it, so you have the power to uncreate it. So you practice that new habit, and all of a sudden, the other bad habits go away.
Okay, so you say that you think differently about food. You should eat rather than to entertain yourself with food. You should eat to nourish yourself.
Exactly. Well, you know, food tastes nice. It's nice tasting nutritious, nice tasting nutrition. So
this is nice tasting, but not so nutritional when we're talking about.
Well, food is grown, junk is made. So if you start to prioritize taste over, if you prioritize taste over nutrition, you're in trouble. So you want to reverse that.
All right.
So just like you wouldn't watch movies all day long, it's not healthy to entertain ourselves all day long with food.
Yeah. And not good at all. Okay, so you also say that you should bring more awareness to your eating. Is that the same thing that we've been talking about?
A lot of times, if people who have issues with food are not very conscious when they're eating, they're not aware of what they're doing. So bring more awareness to the actual eating experience and to your eating triggers.
How do you do that? Are you turning off the TV? Are you?
Well, think about when was the last time you just sat and ate and did nothing else? You weren't watching TV, you weren't talking to someone, you weren't driving. For most people, they can't remember the last time they did that.
Yeah, no.
So just even if it's a snack, once a day for 5 minutes, just sit down and eat while you're eating is what I call it.
Okay, eat while you're eating. I like that. You also say live and speak from your heart.
Yes, and that's our sleeping mask over here. That's the fourth step.
She's lovely, by the way.
Isn't she?
And so what does this mean?
This is, a lot of times if we're eating to get happy, it's because our lives are out of balance. We're not taking enough time to rest or just feed our souls or just be. We're just doing.
Okay, all right, and then finally we have a mirror here. And what is this supposed to
That's
represent?
about wise relationship with the body. So it's instead of identifying with what you're seeing when you're looking in the mirror, identify with the radiance that's looking out from your eyes.
Okay, so skinnythinking.com is the name of your website, and you have a free help for people, 91 days, 5 minutes a day to change your thinking to skinny thinking.
To heal your relationship with food for good, and then you get to keep that thin, healthy body for life without worry or struggle.
And still get to enjoy a cupcake every now and again?
Absolutely. It's not about being rigid. There's room for that.
All right, I'm going to toss things over. Speaking of rigid, Bill Henley.
Now, what does that mean, speaking of rigid?
It means that I love you. That's it. Just a little jab there, but all in love.
All right.